Okay, so now we'll work on the save and next button for quiz, main quiz. So in web project, pages, student, quiz, and maybe before that, let's quickly style these divs. These are not allies. I thought these are ULLI, but these are simple divs. So we have this option box, right? So on this thing, first thing we'll do, we'll have on click, because we want uh, the same functionality we have on this input type radio with this on click as well. So whatever we have this in this on change, the same thing we'll have inside this on click on this main div. So it will actually, if we click on it, it will select the current option. Cool. Now let's copy this option box and we'll have some small styling to this. And let's use scoped style isolated CSS. So inside this only, we'll create this quiz .razor.css file. And in here, we are going to have that class option box. Inside this, first thing, on hover over this one, what we'll do, we'll say border radius, maybe 10 pixel, and then we can have some border color or some shadow, something like that. Let's have some box shadow. So we'll say box shadow 005 pixel and the color maybe black only, we'll see. So we want this thing. Let's start this. We are here, the token might have expired. Login, start quiz. Okay, and you see click is working, but this over appearance, this is kind of being thrown to us. We want this to be smooth, and then this box shadow, this does not look that good. So let's maybe try to change that box shadow. So we'll do this, we'll see what we can do on this box shadow. Instead of black color, some grayish color, and then let's play around with these blurs and all this. So blur is fine, spread 0 is fine, or 1px. Let's do this. So I'm going to copy this thing, we'll do this 18px maybe. Let's copy this box shadow. So here we'll say this box shadow as this 18 pixel, 1 pixel, and then this color. Then we want this border radius change and this box shadow to be smooth. For that, on this option box, we will add transition. So we'll say all is, so I want this transition to be applied on all the property changes with ease, and then 0. maybe 2 seconds, 0.2 seconds. Save it, try to hot reload, or maybe let's restart. Okay, where is it? All right, home, start quiz. Okay, still not that smooth, right? Shadow is not smooth, but the radius is smooth. Okay, so maybe for now let's remove the shadow, or maybe let's leave it like this only. We don't want to invest more time on this. So we are good with this thing. All right. Now let's work on the save and next button. So when we'll say click on the save and next, first thing we need to check, user must have selected one of these options. And when that option is selected, if we click save and next, first thing it should do, it should send the current response for this question. Whatever option user has selected, this should go to the API. There we'll save this response, and then we'll fetch the next question. Okay, then we'll change this current appearance with that next question. We'll change it like this. All right, so let's do this. On quiz.razor, we have save and next question async. Save and next question async. We have this method. Here, first thing we'll check if we have selected the option or not. So for this, we will check this selected option ID. So here we'll say if the selected option ID equals 0, we want to return from here. And we want to display some alert. So now we should work on that alert, right? Okay, for now, let's keep the JavaScript alert. After that, we'll fix this. Or maybe we can simply show the error message only. Yeah, we can show the error message as well. Let's say private nullable string underscore error message. And here we'll say error message equals please select an option. Something like this. Okay. And when we are entering in this, first thing we'll do, we'll reset this and then we'll display this error. Now we have this error message. We want to display this somewhere. So we'll display it after all these options. So here we'll check if the underscore message is not equals null. If that's the case, here what we'll do, we'll simply have a div class. We can say bg danger and my3 and p2, maybe padding of 2. Then we'll have display flags and justify content between and align items center. I want to show a cross button as well, which will remove this error message from the UI. Inside this div, I'm going to have first a label with class text white, and here we'll display our error message, and then we are going to have a simple small button. So button type button with some classes btn, btn sm, btn light maybe, and then okay, here we'll say, let's say just X to show that close thing. Okay, and on click on this thing, on click, we'll simply set this underscore error message to null. So it will remove this this error message from the UI. So close, and I guess we are good. All right. Now if user has selected the option, then we should send the response to the API. So here first thing we'll say app state. We don't have app state on this screen. App state @ inject I app state app state. We should have that app state here as well, right? App state dot show loader. The message as fetching question. Okay, and we need to hide that loader here. So we'll simply say try, let it throw the exception if there is any, and finally we'll say app state dot hide loader. All right, now in here we'll say app state dot show loader, Here we'll say saving response, or saving your response. It could be anything. Then again we are going to have this try catch finally thing. In finally we'll say appstate dot hide loader, and inside this try block, for now don't worry about these catch exceptions. Right now I am leaving it all these exceptions like this only, but later we will work on some alert component, and then we'll show that error alert from all these exceptions. Ideally we should not have these like this everywhere. We can, I mean, it totally depends on how we want to do it, but ideally we should have some centralized service for all these API calls. We should make that generic, and then we should have the try catch finally kind of thing in that service. But because I already started and I was in between, I have done so many things already, so I'm not going to do this, but you guys can try that out. Okay, and if something is not working or you are confused about this, do let me in the comment, then we can discuss it. All right. Okay, so we want to send the response. So for this, I guess in our, what is the name of our API? That is student quiz API. So student quiz API dot save question response async. Okay, and from here we want to send student quiz ID. This we will have from quiz state dot student quiz ID, and then student quiz response DTO. So student quiz response DTO equals new. Inside this we need to provide student quiz ID, which we have in a quiz state dot student quiz ID. Then we have question ID, which we'll have underscore question dot ID. Then option ID, which will be selected option ID. Then we'll simply pass this DTU, and what it is going to return us, it is going to return us quiz API response. So we'll have it quiz API response equals, or let's say result equals await, and then this. Now we'll check on this result. If result dot is success, if this is not true, we'll show the error message. So let's have this error message equals, on this we should have result dot error message, and then we'll return from here. If that's not the case, and for this case, if we already have this error message, let's use this in here in this exception block. We can say error message equals ex.message. Same thing we can do here as well, ex. So we'll create that centralized alert component for sure, but right now let's use whatever we have and show error alert. So here also we'll say error message equals result dot error message. Cool. Now if that's not the case, that means it got successfully saved, the response got successfully saved. Then we need to fetch the next question. So fetching the next question, it will follow the same thing, this one. From this get next question for quiz async, right? So what we can do, we can move this thing in a separate method, and then we can reuse that method in this on initialized async and in that save and next question async at both of these places. So let's cut this out, create a private method here. We'll say private async task, and let's say get next question async. Here we are going to have this logic, or not get, let's say load next question async, because we are not returning anything from here. We are loading that next question in this underscore question. Save it, and let's do this from on initialized. We'll say await load next question async. And same thing in this save and next question async. First we are saving it. If everything is fine, we'll say await load next question async. Before doing this, if we are good, we need to reset selected option ID as well. Okay, we'll reset selected option ID. Then we have this await load next question async. It will load up the next question. Cool. All right. So I guess we are good with this thing now. Let's try it out. But before that, we are storing this underscore questions, right? Whatever questions we have served, we need to add that inside this underscore question. So are we adding the question when we are loading the next question? At that time, we should add that question to this underscore questions dot add underscore question. This is questions list. This is single question. So we are loading up these questions inside this, whatever we have served already. Okay, and here we'll check if this is the last question or not. I guess we are good. Let's save everything. Let's restart. Okay, application is loading. Home, patching categories. There is some error. Let's see what is it. Console and failed to fetch. API is not running, not working. What is it? If I refresh this, go to network, go to, it worked. Maybe API was starting up, something happened. All right, start quiz. Okay, we are here. Two questions. First is this: does Blazor server use SignalR? Let's. Oh, there is only one question in this. Our logic is not correct. We need to fix our logic. It is showing submit quiz, but it, because this is the question number 1, it should not show submit quiz. It should show next, and then on the next page it should show the submit quiz. Something is not right here. Let's come here and let's see what logic we are having. We are having is last question. It should be questions.count equals not -1, because we are adding that question directly when we are fetching. We are not adding it after sending the response. So it should be like this. And then we should show somewhere that question 1 of 2, 2 of 3, something like this. Right? So when we are displaying this question at this time only, maybe we can have a simple label, or maybe at 6, and here we should show what number of question we are showing right now. So for this we can have underscore questions dot count. These are the served questions or fetched questions. So 1 of total count that we can get from this quiz state dot quiz dot total questions. So here we'll say 1 of 2, something like this. Save it and we should be good. Okay, let's start. API is here, UI is here, home, start quiz, 1 of 2, save and next. We press no, save and next, or maybe let's refresh. I wanted to see if we are seeing that error. Again some error. If I refresh, okay, something is not right, that fails, right? So we need to see, we need to fix that error. We'll see. Right now let's start. Save and next. We can see please select an option. We click again, it should show this only, and we can click on this to close that error. You see, so the error is working. Let's say no, save and next, and we can see the next question, 2 of 2. Next question got served here. Okay, now let's work on this submit quiz as well. So in submit quiz async, first thing, same, we need to check if there is any selected option or not, right? So we should have this thing, this first check. Let's have this before this exit quiz async. So the order does not matter. I'm just having these in the order. I'm simply writing these. So error message null. If option is not selected, we'll simply select an option. We'll return from here, and after that, we'll say app state dot show alert, show loader, and here we'll say submitting the quiz. And then again we are going to have same try catch finally here. In finally we'll say app state dot hide loader. In a catch we'll say underscore error message equals this ex dot message. Now in try we'll see student quiz API dot submit quiz async, and we need to provide the student quiz ID as a parameter, which we can get from quiz state dot student quiz ID. But here is one thing for submit quiz async. First we need to send the response. So this saving the response, this section we need to do. So because we are going to reuse the same thing, let's extract this thing out in a separate method, and there only we'll check this thing. Yeah, it makes sense. Let's copy this everything from this method. Save and next question async, submit quiz async, and let's do this. Let's create a method private async task save response async. So let's say save question response async. We'll add this here. First thing, validation of option, then saving your response, then this thing selected option ID 0, then load next question async. We will not have this that call here, we don't need that call, and now we are good. Save question response async, and when we are saying save and next question async, in this case what we'll do, we'll remove everything from here. We will just have two calls here. First call we'll say await save question response async, and then we'll load the next question. But here we should not load next question always. We should first check if this save question response async call was successful. So from this method, let's return task of bool. Okay, here we'll say return false, and in catch also we'll say return false, and here also we have this error, so we'll say return false, and then from here selected option we'll say return true. Okay, so this is now returning true or false. So in our save and next question async, we will check were response saved, or we can say is response saved. If is response saved, then load the next question, and there is this typo response, then only we'll load up the next question. Now in this submit quiz async as well, what we'll do, we will say we will have these things here also. We'll save the response, then we'll check if the response was correct, then only we'll go ahead and we'll call this submit quiz async method, and this returns quiz API response, same thing. So we'll say quiz API response result equals await this. Then we'll check if result dot is success is not true. That means there is some error in submitting the quiz. Here we'll say error message equals result dot error message. Then we'll return from here. If that's not the case, the quiz got submitted successfully. So we should show some alert message here, and we should redirect back to my test or my quiz page, my quizzes page, right? So here let's display that modal pop-up. So for this we will have a boolean uh, property here, boolean variable here, show submit quiz option, or maybe let's say do this underscore submit quiz message, and let's have this as nullable string. Why I'm doing this? Because we have three types of quiz submission. One is manual, the user has completed all the questions and submitted the quiz. Then we have exit, then we have auto submit, that also will work later. So we will have different messages. So instead of having three different piece of state, we will display different message in that modal pop-up. So we'll use this thing here. Here we'll simply check if this submit quiz is message is not null, then display the modal, and here we can have the title. So the title will say quiz submitted, and inside this we can have simply p class text success, and maybe we can have h5 for h5 is fine. Here we'll say at the rate submit quiz message, and on action click or on cancel click, on both of these clicks we will redirect user back to my quizzes page. So here we can say redirect to my quizzes. From both of these we'll do this thing only. Let's define this method. We'll say private void do this, and here we'll say navigation manager dot navigate to, and what is the URL of my quiz page? That is slash student slash my quizzes. So just student my quiz, and we'll use replace true. We don't want user to come back to this page. And before doing this, we will do one more thing. We will set quiz state dot start quiz, or let's say we can create one more method here. We'll say public void stop quiz, and in here we'll reset these two fields. So quiz will be null and student quiz ID will be 0. So here we'll call that stop quiz before redirecting there. Cool. Save it. And now from submit quiz, we need to set this submit quiz message. And this section, total questions, these options, yeah, we can leave it, or maybe you can have one condition here. If the question is not there, you should not render anything. So either way is okay, no problem. All right, so submit quiz async. Here if we came here, submission was successful, so here we'll say quiz submitted successfully, and we have one problem here. If this came to this thing from submit quiz message, we should redirect user to a page where user can see the Result, or maybe user can see the result directly in some modal pop-up, in this same modal pop-up only. Okay, we'll do that later after some time. So to do, show the result in modal pop-up or in a separate page. We'll do this. Okay, but for now with submit quiz async we are good. Now let's work on the next method, that will be this exit quiz async. So here we don't need to validate anything, but what we should do here, we should show confirmation box here. If user said that they want to exit, then only we should show that exit quiz async, then only we should do this, right? Okay, let's create that modal pop-up here. We'll say private string, or let's say bool, show exit quiz confirmation. If this is true, then we'll have this modal pop-up with the title as exit quiz question mark, and inside this we'll have same kind of, let's say, h5 with class text danger, and here we'll say, do you really want to exit the quiz? Save it, and then here we'll have on action button click, we'll exit the quiz, and if that's not the case, that means on cancel click, we will reset this show exit quiz confirmation to false. We'll set it to false so that it removes this modal pop-up confirmation pop-up from the UI. Now if on action button click is there, we'll say exit quiz async, we'll call this method. And for this show exit quiz confirmation, this flag, we will set this flag when we'll click on exit button, exit test button. So we will not call exit quiz async directly here. Instead, we will set that flag to true so that it shows that confirmation box here. Okay, and then if user presses OK, then only we'll exit the quiz. Okay, so here we'll have the same try catch finally thing. In catch, we'll have exception, we'll say error message equals ex.message. In try, we'll say appstate dot show loader, we'll say exiting the quiz, and in finally we'll say appstate dot hide loader, and then in here we'll have our result, or let's say quiz API response result equals await student quiz API dot exit quiz async. We need to provide student quiz ID. So we'll say quiz state dot student quiz ID. Then we'll check, if not result dot its success, then just display underscore error message equals result dot error message and just return from here. If that's not the case, the exit quiz functionality was there, the quiz has been exited successfully. After this, what we should do, we should redirect the user back to the my quizzes page. So that is the redirect to my quizzes. We can call this thing redirect to my quizzes. Save it, and we should be good. Exit quiz async method is also ready. So we have completed all these methods, right? Submit, exit, save. Let's quickly try it out. Save everything. Let's start. UI, home, fetching categories, start quiz. Okay. Question 1 of 2, save and next. We have this error. Let's try exit quiz. We can see this confirmation. So if we say close, nothing will happen. If we say exit, and if we say okay, it will redirect to my quizzes. Go back again. Okay, save and next. Error. Select response. We are here. No. Now if I see say submit quiz, there was that message, that loader, then quiz submitted successfully. If we close, it will go back to my quizzes and we have some error again. Let's see what is this. Object reference not set to an instance of an object, and that is that same thing. What happens from async methods, it goes back to re-render the UI. Okay, but when we set everything to null, what happened? Let me tell you. So what is happening when we say cancel or okay on there, it is going to this redirect to my quizzes. It came here, it stopped the quiz. When we say stop the quiz, it actually set quiz to null. Then we said navigation manager dot navigate to, and while it was navigating, it came back, it went back to this UI and it tried to re-render this. And when it was re-rendering, we were directly trying to access quiz state.quiz.name. So this quiz is null now. So it will show that error. Then after that, it redirect to the home page. So there was that error, but it didn't break anything. But we should handle this case actually. How can we handle it? There are two ways. First thing is directly we can have this question mark here for this one, or maybe we can have some if condition to check if this quiz state.quiz is not null, then only render everything inside this. Okay, so here let's do this, but for this div and all these things, here we can have that thing. So it should be like this: if quiz state dot quiz is not equals null, then only we'll render this div, the main div. And we are not concerned about these things, this if and these if, because these two ifs, these are not directly using anything from that quiz, and we are not resetting these messages, so we are good. So if we stop this and start it again, for exit quiz, didn't we call that stop? So we are calling that redirect to my quiz directly, right? From exit quiz, yes. Okay, let's see, let's go back here, home, start quiz. Okay, select question, save and next, submit. We have error, select it, submit. Okay, and there is no error, it went back to my quiz. So we are good. Cool. So looks like all the functionalities are working on this page. There is only one remaining piece, and that is that progress loader, the timer, which shows how much time is remaining. Okay. Okay, let's do this. We'll stop it and we'll create a separate component for this, as I already told you, right? We are going to have the timer component separate. So we can have that in this web project or maybe shared component. Let's go to shared components and create that here only. Here we'll say quiz timer.razor. First thing I will simply check if this has the build action none. Okay, it is content. Save it, or we might need to close the Visual Studio and open it again to get everything working on this page. Before that, I'll have this quiz timer. I'll go back to the main screen and here I'll render that quiz timer somewhere. So we have this total questions. Then we have this H4 where we are displaying our question. We can have that maybe with the section content. So the place is up to you. Wherever you want to, you can place this. Now, I already have this placeholder, right? Timer. So let's have it here. Here we'll say quiz timer. Save it. Okay, I'll close the Visual Studio and open it again.